Hello, this is Cuberized and welcome to my Craftoria Let's Play. I have been busy. I spent a couple of hours doing things off camera and I want to catch you up, and if you notice, I have a lot of barrels. I'll get to that in a moment. So, because I know I just cleaned this place up within the last episode or two, and yeah, they're all back. I'll explain why. So, let me start with what's been going on, and let me sleep real quick, get to daylight. Uh, I think it was last episode or the episode before. Recently, I made one solar panel. I was trying to get one like that, and I ran out of glass, and I didn't have any sand. So I took a look around on the map, used my nature's compass when I couldn't readily see anything on the map, to look for a desert, and there is not a desert here within 4,000 blocks. So, of any kind, no desert. There's several different varieties, and I found none. So, and I have a parade of these guys, so this is fine. Let's deal with this. Okay, that's an easy way to deal with it. Yay. So I looked for a beach instead. So if you have no desert around, look for a beach. So there was a beach about 700 blocks away, kind of to the south. And because this is all rocky shore, um, this is, these are all not beachy areas. There was little tiny patches here, but I was concerned that there wasn't going to be enough. And there's a rainbow beach there. Why did that not flag? Okay, I take it back. There's a beach right here. But it was showing, it's probably because I didn't look at Rainbow Beach. I was actually looking for a regular beach. So I traveled down here to this spot and got a lot of sand. You can see how this little section here is like leveled off. That was me. God, I don't know how many stacks of sand. I did find a dungeon, didn't go in, just marked it. And I uncovered this, and this on the map. This looks like a giant red mushroom. This might be a mushroom base. I found one of these in my last playthrough. This looks like one of those wizard towers. I think it's an Iron Spells and Spellbooks, where it's an ice mage or a fire mage or something here. This is probably Illagers, and I have no idea what that is. So, lots of things to explore in here. There's also this, and I don't know what this is. Um, it's there's a tree in the middle of it, but it's built up around. So this is something else I spotted from up here. I did come down when I was done with the beach. I came down this way, trying to determine if I had an island or not, and I realized this forks off up to something else, and there's this massive um, beach up here, and it's beach, it's not desert. It's huge. So it takes my little tiny beach and puts it to shame due to the size. And then these things are down here as well. And then, I when I got down to here, I'd reconnected the map pretty much, um, because we had come up this way uh, before. So this is a major river going through, which we'd already seen, and big island. But this island continues up this way somewhere. So these things are all around. Um, yeah. We have boats out there that we still need to explore. and I need to get a lot of the creature catchers to go out there because I think there's villagers. But this is probably the end of the island down here. So that was my little escapade. I came down and then came back up. I did a little mining here and then cut back through and went across. So nothing too terribly exciting that I did, but I did find a lot of exciting stuff. Here at the base, I planted some bamboo. I needed a backup source of paper, and I put some lily pads down that I had found. I put an edge on this because I almost fell in here, so I put a one block edge around my mob slaughter factory. Planted some birch. Birch has a chance of randomly spawning a bee's nest. And I found the bee's nest that I had already captured, which is here. You can come up to this with a bottle if you put a campfire underneath so you don't anger the bees, and tap it and grab, if it's 5 out of 5 honey, you can grab it and you get a bottle of honey. So I've done that, I think, 2 or 3 times. I planted a bunch of flowers around, especially ones that I only had 1 or 2 of, to get them out of my inventory, because I'm having inventory problems, and I'll show you why in a moment. But yes, so I did get lucky and get one to spawn on this birch tree. So I have a second one, second bee's nest, natural. So these didn't spawn any, but I will cut them down and plant the saplings, but there's flowers everywhere. So I still have mineral trees up. They're occasionally making themselves into trees. So what I did, let's see here. I took one of the villagers out of here, put him here to be another librarian. With this guy, I cycled through for 6 minutes, and when I say cycled through, it would be like cycle this kind of a quick 1001, 1002, 1003. So like 60 clicks a minute, checking for books, and it took me 6 minutes to find mending. So a lot of clicks, but I did finally find it. When I was cycling through this guy, I was either looking for unbreaking or looting. Looting? Yes, unbreaking or looting. And I cycled through this. I don't know. I think I gave up around 7 minutes because I didn't find either one. I found mending on him in 2 minutes. So, but I didn't need a second mending. So he's still yet to be set. And again, I just have the 2 villagers down here because I took one to put it there. So I have my 5 villagers set. This guy is sticks, and I've been using sticks to make sawdust because you can use sawdust to make paper. It's one of the book recipes here is, sorry, paper recipes. If you use cane, you get 3 pages. If you use sawdust, you get 6. So another good reason to make sawdust is to make paper, to make books. And on that note, the other thing books need is leather. And making, having cows to get leather is kind of involved. So what you can do is I picked up the drying basin that I had over there and the squeezer. I turned the drying basin into a mechanical one, and to do that, let's mechanical drying basin. So it does need these 2 batteries, which is a lot of mineral. So if you have not made a lot of blocks, make the blocks first. Make a lot of blocks, and so you have extra chunks and blocks. And then you can do this. And with that, I didn't. I will say that with the manual setup, I did not make enough of the chunks, because both of these, the squeezer needs 2, and the drying basin needs 2. And then you use the existing thing, and then you use some kind of obsidian, whatever you have access to, crying or regular. This takes a diamond and obsidian. So the thing you really need is all the mineral. Well, I made the drying basin and didn't have enough, because I didn't check before I made it, to do this. So I had broken my manual setup. But the beauty of this is I have it up next to the coal generator, because I just can't really tap into my solar power at the moment. And what I did is you feed it rotten flesh, and it dries it into, well, whoops, that's not supposed to be in there. So I had an abundance of rotten flesh, and I turned it all into leather. So I have a ton of leather. Which, let me take that out of there and put that in here. So having another way to get leather that does not involve slaughtering animals is a good thing. It saves, in a way, it saves time. So, and this setup is working well. I did take the hopper off, and this again is my enchantment extractor. So you put items in here, and so you put them in here, and then if there are books, it will extract, which right now there aren't. But you can even put the books in here, and it will pull the books into the machine, and then it extracts. So we have a lot of diamond. That's what all this is for, is I ended up with a lack of storage down below. And by that I mean I have a second row of barrels, which you can do because they're all touching. You don't even need the linking tool. There is the tool that you have with this. I think it's called linking. Oh, maybe not. No, that's the wrong one. It's not called linking. Let me find the tool. This thing, storage tool. You can use the storage tool to you can use it for a couple of things, but one of the things that it's used for is to include storage in the system that isn't touching. So if I had a barrel over here and I wanted it to be, well, that might actually be too far away. If I wanted to actually include, say, all these barrels in this system, I can do that by using the tool to link them together. Now, I don't really necessarily need them to be a part of that. So with this, the reason I don't have these is as I said, I spent a couple of hours off camera processing through all of these, running them through here, trying to get everything cleaned up. Well, in the process, it generates a lot of books, and then you end up with the items back again. So, yeah, that's a little problematic. And then there's the, what do you do with all this stuff? With diamond, what I want to do is I want to merge it together and then utilize it. But I mean, some of this stuff barely has any durability at all. So if I, and the other thing is that some of these actually have curses on them that didn't come off as part of the process. Fragility doesn't come off, which I was hopeful for, but it doesn't work that way. And so that means that if you merge these things, I believe it's going to stay on the items. So we're going to test that out real quick. Yeah, let's do it in here. So if I have, let's say, let me see if I have any more helmets, diamond helmets. I've got such a mess here because I tried to keep things sort of organized, and then, yeah, then it wasn't. Because I was exceeding, so most of these have the same kind of thing in them, but then it starts getting a little messy. Yeah, this is all stuff I got out of the, well, I got some of it adventuring. That is true. And then the rest of this stuff ended up just being from my mob grinder. So it's going like crazy. I had to turn it off. And by that I mean I had to encase the spawners in cardboard boxes. I didn't remove them, but I did actually go ahead and stop them from spawning. One thing I did add was I added a zombie spawner and a spider spawner so I could get a lot of zombie flesh so that I can make it into leather for the books. And then that was getting out of hand, and so I boxed that up, and so now I have a spider spawner, and this is all leftovers when I turned off the zombie. But so the spiders are, I'm getting way too many spider's eye. But I'm getting spider's eyes and string. And the string is useful because I can trade it to the fisherman who needs his job is the job item is the barrel. So yes, I've got that going on. And, you know, just experience, experience, experience. Yep, and there's another one. So thankfully, that's pretty much all they drop is string and spider's eyes. Because the rest of this gets a little bit crazy with what I'm getting. So, yeah, I had one die and I got 3. Yeah, so it's a great way to tap into string is if you picked up a spawner. Now, if you did a dungeon and you broke all of the spawners, and now you have cardboard boxes, you can always go find another dungeon and run through real quick and grab spawners. Especially if you've done one already, you probably have better equipment. So, let me get this out of here. I think that is empty. Yeah. So, no guarantees that I have all the diamond helmets, but probably do. So, this is cursed. That's cursed. That one is still cursed. I can kind of sort of see that these are enchanted, but it's always good to double check. So, just out of curiosity, I am going to try, yeah, curse stays. Curse stays. Okay. So there's no point in trying to do this if it's something I want to keep. So the way, if I end up with a bunch of this kind of stuff, kind of the way I handle it is I pick something with a high amount of durability. So this is pretty high. And so you can kind of see it's, you know, a little bit more than half. And so I find something that's a little less than half and see if it makes a full one. Now this one does. If I went a little lower, this one does. So I could use that one. If I went even lower, then it doesn't. So you can kind of just eyeball it a little bit and know that there we go. I've got a diamond helmet. The rest of these I will just put away for now. And these I want to put away here because I definitely don't want to accidentally use them. Same thing with any of these. So this is all leather. This one is kind of special because it's an apotheosis one. You can see the green lettering. You can see that it's got extra special stuff on it, so explosive damage and knockback resistance. But this stuff is just normal, if you will. So if we try to take this and put these together, I don't have any that have a great amount, so I'm going to have to do, you know, what I can to get this. And then, yeah, we'll see if that, not quite. Yep, there we go. So I have leather pants now. Okay. So that's kind of sort of how that works. And with all of these books, yeah, I have this stuff needs to be quote-unquote processed. And that's why I needed all the barrels, is just needed someplace to stash all these items. And yeah, it's a lot. Especially when you have the spawners going. So if you have no way to store this stuff, void it out. Because it's a storage nightmare. I love the surprise of all of the items and all the enchantments, and I have a way to manage that, but it's definitely a resource intensive process because you have all the extra barrels here, I have all the extra barrels downstairs to manage all of that. And I do have a lot of books, so because of the stacking upgrade, I can get 2 books in a stack here, which is nice, rather than just 1. And if there were any items that were identical, and that includes, unfortunately, durability, then they would stack as well. And the reason I'm not using the funnel at the moment is I don't want the items that I just disenchanted to go back into inventory, because then I'd have to go find them again to continue processing them by merging them together into something that is, you know, not damaged. So one of the ways that this can be done is once you have all these enchantments in here, if you sort, some of the more common ones will have multiples. So there's mana boost, mana boost 2, mana regen. So you might want to start with the top. The stuff at the bottom can be multiples, so I can actually take this book. Let me actually do book here and see if I've got the... Yes, I do have some. So let me put this in the first spot. You can actually take a book, an enchanted book, and put it in here, and hopefully that will be next. Oh, it's taking out multiple enchantments. Nope, it's not next. I have to grab it because otherwise I'm going to run out of books. Don't want to run out of books during the demo here. So it's taking off the books one at a time, and so now I have, and to get this whole process to stop, you just take the books out, and it stops. So, yeah, so I got a book out of it because it gives you the book, but these are the 3 enchantments that were on it, and yeah, now they're all individual, so you don't have to worry about applying a book to an item and potentially losing enchantments that don't work. So that's another thing that can be done. So yeah, check these bottom ones. Now these all look like they're individuals, but if you do end up with any, there's a fortune. Like this is another one where it's got double enchantments. You can run it through, you'll get the 2 enchantments on books, and then yeah, you get a book out of it as well when it's done, as opposed to an item. Oh, I just got mending, soulbound. Okay, I'm gonna take those out. Yeah, so that's how that works. So with this, if I decided, hey, I want mending, of course I want mending. I want unbreaking. Mending doesn't have any levels, it's just mending. But if you have unbreaking, and I have unbreaking 3, so thankfully I have a lot of these. Okay, overkill. These, no, I somehow snagged poisoning in here. So it's sorted by number. That's why. Let me put all these back in. And I lost my mending book. Okay, well, I'll have to find that. Is there another one in here? This, it's weird. Sometimes these things come off and sometimes they don't, and I don't know why. And I think maybe it's, if it's just cursed, it won't come off. But if it's cursed and it has an enchantment, they come off. If that makes sense. Okay. So, unbreaking. That's poisoning. That's unbreaking. Yeah, I can grab a stack. I just, they won't, because they don't technically stack in your inventory. They won't go in here nicely. Okay, so let's go play with the anvil. Do I have another anvil in here? Yes, I do. Okay, so here's unbreaking, and we're going to take unbreaking, and we're going to make unbreaking 4. Now I've got, let's do that again, and we can do that again, and there goes my anvil. What I'm trying to do is get a high unbreaking by merging books together. And if you take, now I've got a bunch of 4s, if I take the 4s and merge them together, I get 5. And then if I put the 5s together, I get a 6. And you just keep doing this and get these upgraded to something, you know, very high. The advantage to having the libraries, and I think I mentioned this, that making a library, but we're not there yet, is an enchantment library allows you to store these enchantments so you don't have to do what I'm doing. So if I happen to have an Unbreaking 6 and all these other ones, I can deposit all of these into an enchantment library and then remove them as needed up to level 6, because I put a level 6 in it. So I wouldn't have to go through this every single time. Yeah, so that's how that works. And when I'm done, you can actually merge books together. So I could take an Unbreaking and Amending and whatever else I want to put on this helmet and make it into one book and then apply the book to the item. Or because it's often better to try to do it that way than to try to, oh, I got all kind of flying things around, than to try to do it one at a time, because it's less likely that with each subsequent enchantment it'll actually go on the item. So the good news is I don't really need to worry about pants. But if I wanted to, I could actually, because I have the disenchanter, I can actually strip these off and reapply them. You know, upgrade the Unbreaking and reapply it, or the protection, or change protection for something else. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's how this works. And there's another cursed one. So, yeah, the big thing here is just keeping books. And I think here, yeah, it's I'm out of paper. So, getting 6 as opposed to 3 is really handy, because doing this is easy. I think I put sticks in here. Yep, I have the sticks, so let me grab a stack and we'll drop that in. So if you've been oh, I still have more in here. Good. So if you have your temporal pouch, which is a gadget against the grinds in your quest book, you can do that, and that really speeds up that whole process in the sawmill. I mean, it's going like crazy. So I will go get another stack, and I probably will be able to get that in here in just a moment. Yep. There we go. It doesn't last forever. In fact, it's going to probably end before we get through the stack. But it's definitely yeah, there it goes. That's how slow it is. Big difference. Very, very handy to be able to get this thing going quickly. And then, yep, there we go. And now I can make books. And I have a lot of leather. Let me put the paper in here. So, yeah, there's... So I actually added these over here. In fact, I don't need that one anymore. The paper and the books, just because I'm making them so frequently. It's just easy to do one click and do that. And then to prove my point about putting the books in, I'm going to put them in just randomly, and it'll find them and pull them in. I hope. Yep, there they go. It found them. So they don't have to be in this first slot. It'll find them and pull them in, and as it uses them, it'll keep pulling in more. So, but again, if you don't want to put this amount of effort in to it with all these extra barrels and things, yeah. And the other thing that brings me to is when you do get something like, now you've got these leather pants. If you're at the stage where you're wearing iron or diamond and you don't want to be wearing leather pants, you can I'll say salvage, because I think that's what the table's called, is the salvaging table. You can actually get some components out of these. And we also have the uncrafting table that we can get at. And my sugarcane is exceedingly slow, and I was going... one of the reasons I was off also looking for sand was I was going to make Snad. And they've changed the recipe for Snad, and I have a quick tip on how to adjust that, but we're going to do that right now. Because Snad is a misspelling of sand. It's a this is the recipe, so you need Ars to do this, as opposed to just an early game easy recipe to make this. So Snad actually speeds up any of these, actually. So if we wanted to make a netherwart farm, we would want soul Snad. If we wanted to, and these are just both variations on sand, but being able to grow netherwart quickly. Hey, you caught me on fire. Stop that. Ow. And my infinite water source is my sink, so I can't really hop in. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and change the Snad. I'm going to prep here for just a second, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so this is where you need to go. You go to your C drive, if that's where you have, well, it will be your C drive, because you go to users, you go to whoever you've identified yourself as. Mine is me. And then drill down through CurseForge, Minecraft, instances, Craftoria, QBJS, server underscore scripts, mods, and then Ars underscore Nouveau. If you want to get right to this folder, just search for Ars underscore Nouveau, and you'll be able to find this folder, or find this file. If you look for recipes.js, you'll find all of the JavaScript recipes within CurseForge, which there's quite a few. And so then they're all called recipes. They're just in different folders. So with this, this is what you're looking for. This defines the recipes, different recipes for Ars Nouveau. So if you try to, I'm going to open this or edit this with Notepad just to confirm what's in here. So here's Snad. We've got the three kinds. So this is sand, this is red sand, and this is soul sand. And that's all that's in here. There's nothing else in here. This is just defining the recipes for those three things. Nothing else. So because of that, the easiest thing to do, because that's all that this is delete this. That's it. Just delete it. If there were other things in there, we would either need to decide if we wanted to get rid of all of them, which would be deleting the file, or make modifications. But because that's all that this is, we can do that. And I'm going to go back to the game, so 1 second. Okay, back in the game. I didn't exit the game. I just switched screens, so I just wanted to make sure that it was smooth. So now when we look at Snad, oh, okay, this one, because it's a recipe, I'm going to need to exit. So let me exit and go back in. Okay, because we deleted the file, I had to back out of the game and have it reload the files. And so I had to just log out and log back in. But I'm back in, and these are now the default recipes. So it's very easy to go do that. So I will make my Snad. Oops, sorry. All I wanted to do was that. And I have no sand again. No, I have sand. I have sand in here. Yeah, I picked up just a little bit. Just a little bit. So I will make maybe 16. I shouldn't need too much more than that. And 2 shot in the back. Shot in the face. I need to light this up a little bit better. I think I'm going to take all this out so I can replace it. Yeah, these are flowering. I found it en route to the beach. So I thought I would utilize them here. Now I'm going to have, yeah, I'm going to leave a few of these not snad so we have something to compare with, and I will even plant them first to give them a head start, just so we can compare. Okay, these are the non-snad. These, okay, you can immediately see these things are I'm going to go with no contest here. These immediately have grown. Yeah, it's just that fast. Yep, see, these guys haven't even... I've harvested these things a couple of times already, and the non-snad haven't even grown. Yeah, it's such a difference. So, yeah, I think we've proven the point here that this is not good. So, yeah, this is infinitely better. So just imagine, you know, having it on, having netherwart farm for this thing here. So let's see, I think I have soul sand in here. It's one of these, that's soil, this is sand. Probably don't need that many. Let's do 8. It's a nice number. And let's do another. Because we're feeding, I find it easier to grow stuff for this than to actually kill things for it. Although I do have the blaze down below for blaze rods, but yeah. So let's put this up here somewhere. This is a nice spot. Okay. So this is Soul Snad. These are like instantly growing. Look at that. That's that's mature right there. I planted it and it's mature that fast. So, yeah. So you can do use that for cacti too. If you need cactus, large amounts of cactus for something. So I don't want to be standing out there constantly harvesting now that it's growing really fast. So we'll have to go to some kind of automation. I'm going to end up with a farm after all. And I probably want one anyway because I'm going to want to plant wheat so I can make bread for the villagers so that they can make more villagers. Because you feed them bread, they will mate and make a baby villager. So back to books here. Let's so we've gotten up to Unbreaking 6. And yeah, so finding out what you want to put on there. Now it's a helmet. Probably want to do something with water. So unfortunately you can't really, I don't think I can search. Yeah, you can't really search in here on what the enchantment is. So you kind of have to skim. Again, another reason it's very, very handy to have a library is that you can deposit all these books and yeah, go from there. So uh, that'll be, there's another one that needs to be broken down. It's multiple. But yeah, so I will go through here and pull things out and get, you know, these merged together between episodes so that I have a full set of armor and weapons that is not cursed. And we'll pull out enchantments and then we can go ahead and put them all on weapons and items, armor items next episode. And I will be fully geared up because I think next episode we should go off exploring what these buildings are down here and see how much how much we can get into trouble. Um, so yeah, and maybe even go off and check out some of this stuff out here that we haven't touched, and the boats. So more than one episode worth of dangerous exploration, but definitely worthwhile. But I need to get geared up. I have unfortunately lost all of my armor. My weapons are almost broken, and I didn't catch it before it went away. Getting shot by skeletons and attacked by husks and all other kinds of manners of things. Just roaming around my base. And of course, when I went out down to the beach, I got attacked along the way there too. So, yeah, no armor is not fun. And yeah, broken weapons aren't fun either. So, definitely want to get this improved and upgraded and myself more protected. And yeah, I want that. And we do have lots of experience, so we have an easy way to repair all of our items without needing lava, which is what I was using before for the blaze items, because lots and lots of lava is just not handy. And I think I've got a bunch of husks around my villagers, if I see that on the map. So, yeah, there. I may release an iron golem over there. But, so, in terms of all of these will all go away again because I don't think I have... Yeah, I have barely used any of these, so I'm going to drop all the items back into here now that I've expanded my system, and it should be able to accommodate all of this, which will be nice. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. And because I think everything that needs to be unenchanted is in there already. I will double check in my system and make sure there's nothing in here that's enchanted, and then I can drop all this stuff in. And then merge it within using the internal crafting table. But I think with that, yeah, I think we're at a decent stopping spot. It's actually going to be a little shorter than normal, but that's probably a better thing. I've been running over the hour. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, please put it down below. I do read and reply to everything, and I do appreciate your comments. If you have enjoyed the episode, please give me a like. That really helps me out. And subscribe for alerts to new content as it becomes available. I'm trying to get episodes out at least weekly, if not more frequently, so be alerted. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is Cuberized, signing off. Thank you.